Hi, Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Thursday, June the 14th. Well, leaders of the Arkansas State Senate today put out some revisions in their ethics code to try and boost public confidence in that body, given the amount of corruption that's been reported lately by members of the Arkansas legislature. They'd established a committee that would consider ethics complaints brought by members of the Senate. They would change and require a little bit more reporting on income that's now required. And they also say that if you disclose you're an attorney or a consultant for somebody, that you can't vote on those issues. There's some problems with this. They already have ethics rules. Nobody's ever filed a complaint under them before. Members of the Senate are reluctant to pick on their fellow senators. Some of these things could be good. They didn't want to talk about Jeremy Hutchinson and say whether what he'd done would have fallen under these ethics rules or not, even if legal fees were legal, as he says they were, and taking $500,000 from a company that's caught up in a bribery scheme. Would that be okay? He never disclosed that work before. Well, in any event, they're trying to make things look a little bit better. The main thing is there hadn't been an ethics charge brought in the last 45 years in Arkansas. I'm not so sure we'll see any in the future either. The governor of Kentucky said yesterday that if a federal court suit over their new work rules for Medicaid is successful, he'll just kill the whole program, throw 500,000 people off Medicaid. If that court suit is successful, we can expect a similar lawsuit in Arkansas, which also has work rules in place, thanks to Governor Asa Hutchinson. The question is if we lose such a lawsuit, would Hutchinson throw everybody off Medicaid? Lots to lie ahead for us. The State Board of Education is meeting this afternoon. It's going to hear an application for a new outfit to run a charter school that's backed by the Walton Foundation and a building owned by the Waltons, after an earlier applicant had to pull out because of a number of problems. There are going to be a lot of speakers today. A former Education Board member, Sam Ledbetter, perhaps former Congressman Vic Snyder, and also the Superintendent of the Rock Schools, Michael Poore, are likely to resist this charter school application. We don't need it. We have adequate schools in that neighborhood now. This will just skim more kids out of the school district that's struggling to get better. But the Waltons control education policy in Arkansas, no matter what's said today. I expect they'll get their way. They usually do. Interesting meeting of the board that governs Little Rock Technology Park last night by Leslie Peacock. You can find it on arkansasblog.com. It seems like they have at least rented out enough small offices to at least cover their operating costs on existing buildings. They want to build a new building. They've used up all the taxpayer money that's been provided. They just don't have enough to build it yet. They haven't been able to lure a big tech company like they thought they would. As expected, this was mostly a real estate play. It's nice, and it's a nice building. We've got some people working down there, but I'm not sure government's role as an encourager of economic development has ever worked very well. What we need is capital, not more buildings, I think. Elsewhere, by the way, speaking of the big bribery scandal that caused the Senate ethics concern, David Ramsey, the Arkansas Times, reported yesterday that despite the fact that Preferred Family Healthcare said that they've made a clean sweep at the top and got rid of those people involved in that scandal, turns out that one of the people still running the operation seems to be implicated in some of the outlined charges against Jeremy Hutchinson and others, not by name and not by specific charge, but enough that after reviewing the situation, they decided to put him on leave too yesterday. There's still a lot of questions about this outfit. The governor ought to call for a full audit and full disclosure and decide where we're getting our money's worth or not. As yet, nobody's done that. Lots of news on the Donald Trump front today. The Attorney General of New York has sued him and his foundation for using foundation money improperly to help his presidential campaign and to pay some of his personal debts. The Inspector General's report was issued by the FBI about the Clinton email investigation. Doesn't look like anybody did anything improper there. James Comey didn't follow policy, kind of made a fool of himself. But also they disclosed some emails among FBI agents that showed some didn't like Donald Trump very much. So there'll be enough for everybody to spin this any which way they want. No doubt about that. There is a little bit of noise about Donald Trump being caught photographed saluting a North Korean general. The North Koreans are using it for propaganda. These kind of things happen, but back when President Obama bowed to a Japanese leader, the right wing went nuts. Not so much about Donald Trump. He seems to be the Teflon Don. And finally, there was a report on CBS last night that Sarah Huckabee Sanders would be leaving her post as White House press spokesman by the end of the year. She replied by tweet in a way that seemed to dismiss the report, although not explicitly. It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. She likely can make some more money in another field with a little less stress. More power to her. There's a lot to resist. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.